everybody, good morning and welcome to Board Game Breakfast, which is late. Obviously it should have been up yesterday, but we delayed it because of our Origins trips, which was extremely exhausting, but we had a good time there and we got a lot of video recorded for you. Now I know that we said we were going to try to do some live stuff from Origins. Unfortunately, the internet access there that we had access to was just really poor. We couldn't get anything uploaded there, and for that I apologize. Hopefully we'll make that up to you when it comes to Gen Con and Dice Tower Con, which are only a couple weeks away. But anyhow, so this is late. Dice Tower itself will be late a little bit this week, but we'll get everything back on track, and we have stuff coming up for you, and we'll talk a little bit about that for you soon. But first, the news. Lots of news coming from Origins, so we have some of it for you today, and some of it will be coming over the next couple weeks. First, we have the Small World Designer Edition from Days of Wonder. This was a very beautiful, expensive version of the game that was kickstarted. Beautiful wooden bits. You can see my review of it. But now you can buy a copy with the leftover copies. I think it's around $4.50 to buy them. That's expensive, and a limit of one per customer. And yet, I think by the time you're watching this, that they will already be sold out. Who knows? WizKids has the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles license, Heroes in a Half Shell. They're going to be applying this to both their HeroClix system and to Dice Masters. Yeah. HeroClix in particular, and it's very interesting, we're going to see the Turtles in their different incarnations from the very beginning, the original cartoon, all the way up to now, through the movies and things, so they have the license for everything. Stronghold Games is starting a new line of games. Their Great Designer series. I guess the rest of the designers aren't so great. But this one really is some great designers who started out. Kramer and Kiesling, the team, who has put together some amazing games of the year. And the first game is Portet Niagara from them. Spinderella won the Kinderspiel this year for 2015. That is the best kids game of the year. Spinderella is a game about spiders, which you think wouldn't be a theme for kids, but this one's pretty interesting, and I can't wait to get my hands on this game from Zoc and tell you guys more about it. The Origins Awards were announced. Best Family, Children, and Party Game, it was Hare and Tortoise. The People's Choice was Gravwell. Best Card Game was Splendor. People's Choice was Star Realm. The People's Choice for Best Board Game was Dead of Winter, which is a fantastic game. And then the committee voted for the best board game, and that was Sheriff of Nottingham. Woohoo! So that was very nice of everybody. Now, the Origins Award still has a long way to go, but there are now new members of the board at Gamma, and they have all assured me that this is one of the things that they really want to do is get these fixed. And I mean, there's been some major changes on the board, so I'm very excited about this and look forward to see how it's going. At the same time, very thankful for this. Sheriff has done very well, and I was able to have a chance at Origins to take a look at the games that are coming out in the more games that are coming out as we in the Dice Tower Essentials line, and they're going to be fantastic, folks. Really, I'm excited about them, and we'll have more information about them as time goes by. Hey, Tom Vasel here.
Jason Levine.
Today we have a question from Tom who asks, what if you play with the same people all the time? And how do you adjust your strategy? For example, let's say I'm playing Power Grid, and Jason sees I buy a coal plant. So then he's like, oh, if I buy a coal plant, Tom's going to be super aggressive in that regard. So do you adjust your strategy based on your knowledge of the person, or do you still just pick what you think is the best way to win?
No, I usually adjust my strategy. So if if we're playing Power Grid, we'll use this as an example today. If I'm playing Power Grid, I see that a bunch of people are going coal, I'll be like, let me go oil instead, because if I go oil, then I'll be opposite of everyone else.
I understand the strategy part, but what if you're playing against a guy and you're like, let's say Risk, and I say, I'll attack that guy, but I know if I attack him, he's going to
attack me. The rest of the game, he's going to attack me. I'll try
will you alter what you do?
Yes, I will. I'll say, if this is a guy who will always attack you if you attack him, I'll make sure to kind of veer the other way, avoid him until I need to attack him later.
See, I'm not so sure I'm on board with that, because I think that rewards bad behavior. Like, you're attacking the rest of the game then? then, so I'm not going to attack you. But at the same time, I think it's important that's one of the fun things about playing in the same group is you get to know everyone's personality.
And the tendencies. You get the tendencies of what people do in a game.
Right, and so what might tempt them, you're going to buy that, right? And set them up because you get to know them. And I think I think it's sometimes more fun to play in a group than it is with some strangers in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people who like to attack. Every time we play a game, they like to attack.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
And there's other people who like to tech up. Tech up, no matter what we play, they like to tech up.
All right, well, I'm just saying, some people, when you attack them, attack the rest of the game after you.
Yes, they do, and they say, you did that, I'm going to attack you the rest of the game.
I think this question has totally veered off target, but what I'd like to know is what do you guys, do you prefer playing with different people, or do you like playing the same groups where the strategy is not just about the game, but it's about the players that you're playing? Let us know in the comments. Send us questions at dicetower@gmail.com. I'm Tom Vasel.
Jason Levine.
See you next time.
Okay, so we're here at the Mayfair booth where they're promoting a game I guess it's popular. I've never heard of it, frankly. And the interesting thing they do here at Mayfair is you demo games. They give you ribbons for your badge, right? And if you collect all 5 of the Catanian resources, then they give you a discount on some of their commodities, which is a pretty good racket if you think about it, because they're making buying a game a game. I am play testing this game Steam Court that my friends here from Greenville, South Carolina have designed. And it's fantastic, but I'm about to collapse. Okay, something that bugs me at conventions is when you're wearing your tag here all day and it chafes against your neck. So today I wore a collared shirt. It's a trick I picked up from Eric Summerer, so now I turn it over to you guys. Man, these prices of cool stuff are so amazing. I think if I were watching a video on YouTube, I would just immediately go over and buy something of cool stuff as fast as I could. So what advice do you have to me so I can be more adorable and charming on Board Game Breakfast? Always smile. Always act excited. I can do that. Always act like you're having fun. So there's this thing that George Burns said about comedy. He said the key is sincerity, and if you can fake that, you've got it made. So I will do that. Okay, thanks, Ian. Well, Internet, things are winding down here at Origins 2015. We had some laughs, shed a few tears. We learned some things about ourselves. And in the end, isn't that what matters? You know, here we are, hurtling through space on this big blue marble. And I just have to ask why. But others may ask, why not? And in the end, isn't that what it's really all about?
Hey folks, from the Dice Tower this week, we will have a fewer reviews, although we have some reviews coming for you. But what we're going to be doing this week is we're going to be presenting the Origins Summer Preview. Now, the Origins Summer Preview are videos that we have done. We recorded them at Origins. I'd say there might be around 60 of these videos where different companies came and showed us either games that are out right now or games that will be coming out over the next months or so. Some of them at Gen Con and some of them at Essen. So watch for these videos. I think we'll also have a top 10 video for you this week. So there's still stuff coming out. Like I said, everything's slightly delayed just because we have a huge amount of video, and we're also kind of behind schedule. Got back later yesterday. So anyhow, watch that. Also check out all our podcasts at dicetower.com.
Chaz Marler from Pair of Dice Paradise here, and if you're anything like me, you teach a lot of board games, and you know then that many games are really tough to teach. That's why I was considering recording a video chock full of tips on how to better explain board games. Oh, but then I remembered that there's a wonderful instructional video already at our disposal, The Matrix Reloaded. Yes, that's right. The Matrix Reloaded demonstrates everything that you need to know about teaching board games. For example, here are just some of the things that you can learn from this fine feature film. Interestingly, many of my favorite games turned out to be those that I initially went into with really low expectations. The pleasant surprise of having my expectations exceeded made the game shine even more. Comparatively, a lot of hype surrounding a game can lead to disappointment, simply because they can't live up to it. Now, imagine that, instead of describing a board game, you are describing the cinematic asparagus burp that is The Matrix Reloaded. If you introduce it like this...
The car chase is unstoppably watchable, man. The car chase will be blowing people's minds for 50 years.
You may be setting slightly hyperbolic expectations for the movie. And after that, you have nowhere to go but down. This isn't conspicuous at all. I saved you. Oh, my neck snapped. Therefore, don't set unrealistic expectations when describing a game that you introduce, because the new players may ultimately be left disappointed and slightly disoriented. Okay, so you're in the midst of teaching the game, and then this happens. You encounter a rule that will only trigger under certain circumstances. So you wonder, do I skip over this rule, or do I detour into a 4-minute explanation of it? Well, the answer is somewhere in the middle. Don't skip it completely, but fight the temptation to tangent, because that flow-faltering faux pas is the board game instructional equivalent of conducting a stirring, heart-pounding speech about how you, the last remnants of humanity, will not relent in your fight against the angry killer robots that are barreling down towards your stronghold this very minute, with the sole objective of obliterating every last one of you and then cutting immediately to a mud-soaked dance party. For 4 minutes. So, when explaining a game's rules, don't inflict the instructional equivalent of a 4-minute dance scene by getting sidetracked by irrelevant minutia. Don't do it. Never do it. It is a thing not to do. Stick to what your players need to propel them into playing, and address secondary special case rules as they're encountered.
Love it or hate it, 8-bit and 64-bit pixelated graphics in card games saw a recent explosion in our hobby. Among the best received in that niche is Boss Monster. Well, the app version is out for iOS, Android, and Steam, so let's take a quick look at this dungeon building game. Trying to evoke an old-school side-scroller, Boss Monster puts you in the role of a big boss building out your dungeon by laying traps and casting spells to try and rid yourself of all those pesky heroes. Be the first to 10 victory points, or the last to perish from wounds in order to win. I haven't played Boss Monster in real life, but I thought it would play well as an app, so I kickstarted it. Overall, I suspect that for some reason this just isn't my type of game, so take my comments with a grain of salt. I'm not anti-random, but in this game you get your boss, the rooms and spells, and the heroes all at random. After all, it's a card game. But I've just had a lot of frustrating games in which I felt I had no real ability to impact the game flow. And without the social element of a real opponent, I just think some of the fun is probably lost. The app seems very faithful to the real game and is quite well done technically with most of the features I look for. The tutorial does a good job of walking you through the game and UI, but I do wish the rules were available in the app to read through. The other tweaks I'd like to see are mostly related to speeding up the game, even in fast mode. Boss Monster is also quite visually dark. It may be thematic, but it does create some usability issues. And because the app uses specific buttons for your actions instead of touch-friendly gestures, the gameplay can feel a bit fiddly. The solo play is entertaining, but I would stick with the 2-player only because the 3 and 4-player approach rotates your opponent's dungeons in the top half of the screen, which is inconvenient at best. Online multiplayer against random opponents or matching with friends using room codes works really well and is a plus to the app. And the publisher and developer have proven to be responsive to feedback, and I really respect that kind of customer care. Whether it's pixel nostalgia, the desire for a card-based dungeon crawl, or you just like the real game, the Boss Monster app is definitely worth a look. It's not my kind of game, but thankfully on iOS and Android you can download the game trial for free, so you don't have to count on my opinions to give it a try yourself.
Okay, here we are, moving up into the top 30 of my favorite expansions. These are all amazing expansions. The first one we're going to talk about today is Artifacts for Ultimate Werewolf. Now, this is one of those expansions that I hardly ever get to play because I'm usually teaching Werewolf to new people, and so throwing Artifacts in is, I don't know. Artifacts, if you don't know, are basically an extra card you give to everybody, and it's an artifact that you can use despite your role. I think they're especially fun because villagers sometimes get bored because they don't have anything to do, but an artifact gives you maybe a one-time use, or maybe it will change your role a little bit. They make the game a little bit more complex, but they're super fun, and so I really enjoy them. Then we have the long boards for Pitch Car. Yeah, I know. These are just boards, but one of these boards equals 4 straight boards from the regular game. So you can buy these in sets of 2, and I have 4 of them, and I really wish I had more, because what these let you do for Pitch Car is make really long straightaway tracks. They fit well on tables. They're fantastic to flick that car all the way around the track. I love these. Love them, love them, love them. Then we have Breakthrough for Memoir 44. Memoir 44 is a great 2-player game. What Breakthrough did is it made it more intense, especially for 2 players. Basically, instead of having a board that was this wide, it doubled that. And so now you can play some more involved battles, or basically a breakthrough. You have to break through the enemy lines. And some of my most fun experiences for Memoir are from this expansion. Power Up for King of Tokyo. Now this one's unusual for me because when I first played this, I was like, I don't know. It added a deck of cards for each monster, and you get to use these cards to do special powers or upgrade your monster. And at first I was like, I don't know, it just felt a little kind of chaotic, but as time went by, I really started to enjoy this expansion, especially as it kind of gave a very strong flavor to each monster. And that was something that I really enjoyed. I liked having the monsters be different in different ways, and so great expansion. And then finally for today, we have the Distant Lands expansion for Jet Set. Now, many of you may not have even played Jet Set, but you should. It has a feel of a train game, even though it's airplanes and connecting routes all over the board. It is a fantastic. I always consider it to be like a gamer's version of Ticket to Ride. It's not the best analogy, but it's close. Jet Set added extra things that I really enjoyed. It added hubs, which gave I really enjoyed hubs, which gave you a chance for people when they go going through your city, then you got some money. It also added more money to the game. It also added more route cards. There's 4 modules plus more cards. Really, really lots of fun. And that's Distant Lands for Jet Set. Which means now we're in the top 25. See you next week.
Hey everybody, Steve here, and this is the AFR 2-minute drill. So a lot of times companies will put out special sets for their games. Sometimes there'll be a greatest teams of all time, but there's a very interesting set that's coming out from Play.com for their History Maker baseball game. And this is a greatest losers set. This features 9 of the absolute worst teams to ever take the field, all the way from the 1899 Cleveland Spiders up through the 2003 Detroit Tigers. All the heartache and misery from those teams can now be recreated on your tabletop. And another game that we're keeping our eye on here is from a brand new designer and a brand new company, and it's called Roll Saga Baseball. And this game is going to feature a customizable game board where each team will come with a special mat that you'll roll out over the field so that it actually recreates the dimensions of that team's particular stadium. It's also going to include cards for all the players, for managers and coaches, even umpires, and also player agents will get thrown into the mix. Not a lot of details out right now, but you can go to their website at rollsaga.com to check it out, and then be sure to tune in for their Kickstarter launch on July 1st. Alright everybody, that's all for now. Be sure to tune into the AFR Sports Board Gaming News every Tuesday night to catch up on everything going on in the sports board gaming world. Until next time, my name's Steve, and you've been watching the AFR 2-Minute Drill.
Hi everybody, and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer. My name is Cody. I gotta tell you, I love games. I love games. Not like that Tom Vasel, who has a casual interest in gaming. I'm sorry, Mr. Vasel. Anyway, I thought I was gonna go ahead and give a salute to each and every one of my hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of favorite games, individually. And I'm going to do it in alphabetical order. I absolutely love Android Netrunner. This great game is published by Fantasy Flight Games, and it was designed by Richard Garfield and Lucas Litzinger. I really like its clever hand management mechanic. I also really like how this game promotes bluffing and asymmetrical play. And I can't get enough of its science fiction theme. And I really like the game board. None. Maybe my favorite thing to do in this game is breaking subroutines and making a run on the HQ. I also really enjoy stealing agendas and scoring agendas. So my hat's off to you, Fantasy Flight Games. I'm sure Christian T. Peterson is very happy with the success of this game. So whether you're the corporation or the runner, you'll be sure to have a lot of fun with this game. Seriously, I love this game almost as much as I love my girlfriend and dogs. Thanks for watching, and join us next week when I take a look at Ascension. Until then, this is the Discriminating Gamer saying adios.
Please somebody help me on my feet again.
So last week I was able to go to Origins 2015. Now, Origins Game Fair, I believe this is the 10th time that I've gone to it. I started going 12 years ago, missed a couple times due to different life issues. But Origins has always had a special spot in my heart. For a while, it was the only convention I could go to because it was in the summer. It was in the middle of the summer. They've since moved it to the beginning of the summer. And Origins, held in Columbus, Ohio each year, held by Gamma, is a mid-sized convention. Although, to be fair, it really is probably the second biggest pure tabletop gaming convention in the U.S., Gen Con being obviously the biggest. I mean, there's other big conventions like PAX and the Comic Cons, but they also focus on things outside of gaming. Origins is all gaming. And that's the whole focus of this convention, is just playing games. So if you like to play games, this is a great place to go. And I'd love to show some footage here of Origins, and we will do that as time goes by. But again, right now we're filled with footage, so we have to sort through all of it to get to that. But when we went this year, we went as a team, and we had our own area in Hall D. And first of all, if you're watching this and you came by and said hello, we really appreciate that. I mean, we had a lot of folks come by, and that was a lot of fun to talk to everybody. And we had new Dice Tower ribbons, which were fun to hand out. And it was a very entertaining experience. It was very exhausting because we work with Gamma to do the summer preview. So we spent 3 days, like 10 hours each day, just recording video for that. And I'm really thankful to the guys who helped me do that. That just really came, I hope it came out well, and we had a really good time doing that. But it was very tiring. And so we didn't get to play as many games. But if you went to Origins, it's a great place to play games. There's lots of demos. I mean, Asmodee, you could play games all day long, and Yellow, and just throughout the halls. I thought it was a very good convention. We had some good events ourselves. Our Dice Tower dinner was fun. The Dice Tower live show was spectacularly fun for us. We're going to put that up, both video and audio, for you probably next week, so you have a chance to see a little bit of what that was like. But that was very fun for us to do too. And so this year, the numbers were certainly higher than previous years. We don't have an exact count yet. But last year, I believe the numbers were close to 13,000. There was at least probably 1,000 more than that this year. And there was big Hero Clicks and Dice Masters Tournament. The Dice Masters Tournament especially I found interesting because I went over to watch them, and I was really quiet because I was like, you know, they're playing a tournament. But the guys in the tournament started talking to me. The people were all standing around. Everyone was talking to me and showing cards. And I was like, wow, this is a really casual atmosphere. And I really enjoyed that. I also found it interesting that in the Dice Masters Tournament, they were using everything. They were using DC and Marvel and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Dungeons and Dragons. And that was kind of cool just to see everything mixed together. I'm a big fan of, that Duel of Ages, Hero Clicks type of thing. And so that was cool to see. I'm sure next year we'll see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and more DC War of Light and whatever other expansions they have for Dice Masters. So the fair is big and stuff, but it never feels that crowded. The exhibition hall has really wide aisles. I was able to go by. There's a lot of dice towers being sold there, and I'll be showing you some of those really cool ones over the next couple weeks in Dice Baby. And just some spectacular, just like cool things to look at. There was tons of Kickstarters there. Didn't get a chance to look at all those. I'm sure we'll see them as the Kickstarters fund. But some of the Kickstarters that have funded are now becoming full-fledged companies. So that's good to see that. And just different companies as they announce different things. And again, Origins is kind of like a precursor to Gen Con. So lots of this, wait till you see what's going to be at Gen Con. You know, we're going to have this game at Gen Con. We're going to have 4 or 5 games at Gen Con. And so it's like kind of gets the excitement going. But Gen Con can be an overwhelming experience. So Origins, you know, if you don't want to be with these huge crowds, Origins is a really good alternative to that, and there's lots of cool games. Now, some people, the question we're asked the most at the con is, what's the hot game of the con? I don't know that there was one. There were some games that people really enjoyed. Elysium, I saw lots of people playing that and enjoying that. Nations, the dice game, I saw a lot of people playing Spyfall, which was finally released from Cryptozoic, and you'll probably be able to get that in stores next week or so. And so some things like that, but I don't know that there was any one game that everyone was, but people were having fun playing games, which is kind of the whole point of going. So if you've never been to Origins, I do recommend it. We will certainly be going next year. We had a fantastic time. And once again, for all those who came and said hi to us, we want to say a sincere thank you.
Hi, I'm Ian from Open Box Games Jr. and welcome to Component Mode. And I have a lot of games to show you, but today is going to be a little different. Stephen Barnacle is going to show you a game. Hi, I'm Ian from Open Box Games Jr. and today I'm with Stephen Barnacle.
Hey Ian, how you doing? It is so good to see you. Look, what are you wearing?
My Stronghold game
That's
shirt.
Knights of the Stronghold game shirt, because you're one of my knights, right? And what game are you looking forward to the most this year?
Survive the Space Attack.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, how'd you hear about that? How'd you know I was bringing that out?
Board Game Geek.
Those guys, they have all the good news there, right? Yeah. You excited about the game?
Yeah.
Ooh, I have something I can show you. I forgot it was even here. You're going to be one of the first persons to see this. Can you hold on a second?
Yeah.
Wait right here, wait. Oh,
I wonder what it is.
look what I got here. These are what the people are going to look like now.
Whoa.
They look like little spacemen. These are the pieces that have just come off from the printer so that I can proof them. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have, put those there, and then we have some of the aliens. Oops. This is, oh, mighty, he's that same color as the whale, and he's called the warrior. Okay. And we've got this guy, he's called the Spawn. Kind of looks like a shark, right? So he's got that same kind of function.
Yeah.
And we got this guy, we couldn't use the same S again, so he is called the Queen. So he's like the sea serpent, right? Hold that one. And what do we got here? That's an escape pod, and that's a fighter ship, and that's the laser turret. These are the first pieces that I've seen from the game, so I can proof them to make sure that they all are going to work out. Oh.
Okay.
Isn't that neat? So, you know what? Even Tom Vasel hasn't seen this yet.
What?
You're the what? Mind-blowing. So you're the first podcaster that's ever seen these things.
Wow.
I know. I saved these for you. Thank you, Ian, for talking to me. I appreciate it. Really a pleasure. Keep up the good work. I think you're doing a great job.
First of all, thank you very much for joining us, Eric. One of the things that you always say when we're looking at the wall and deciding what to play is you don't want to play any of your own games. And I'm just curious why that is.
I hate my games.
Really?
I'm kidding. No. I play test my games twice a week. My wife and I run a very, very strict scheduled playtest gauntlet every Monday and every Thursday. I play my games more than any other games out there. And it's not that I get sick of it, but when there's a clear line of demarcation between just playing games for fun and playing games for work. And when I'm playing, especially we're playing at our mutual friend's house, I want to turn that off. I want to turn the game designer off and just enjoy. I think that's important.
The big question that I've got for you is, was the plan when you were, given the XCOM license to run amok with, was the plan always to do it as an app integrated board game, or was that something that sort of, hey, wouldn't it be cool, that came up during the development?
Right. No, from day one. From the day that I remember the day very, very clearly. I have a meeting with FFG every year, and they were like, so these are the projects that we have right now. They mentioned a couple of things, including Star Wars, that I liked, but then they hit XCOM. I was like, I don't want to hear anything else. I want to do XCOM, because I love XCOM. Right. And they're like, all right. And we also talked about many years about wanting to do a game with an app and with app integration in a particular way. And they said, this should be the game. And I was 100% agree. And so there was no version of XCOM at any point of the design that was even played without an app. So I actually did a very basic wireframe for the app before touching the first prototype.
Well, thank you very much, Eric.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Steve.
the time, and good luck with your future games.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing more from Eric Lang.
Me too. Goodbye, Fourth Wall. I had a game called Senator, which has actually gotten a little bit of reputation now for being my most famous games among Tom Vasel. I know who you are.
Anyhow, folks, thanks so much for watching. I know there's maybe a few segments missing from Board Game Breakfast today you like. Hopefully you'll see them again next week. We have a lot of stuff coming. There will be no live Q&A today. We will probably do one this week, but it will probably be closer to the end of the week, just because, as I said, we really need to get cracking on all this video and stuff that we need to put together. Once again, folks, thank you so much for watching the show. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vasel and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production, sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., an amazing place to buy board games. Cool stuff in stock at CoolStuffInc.com.